raised $14 million, grew it to 5,000 plus global customers, and then 2021 sold that to Adobe.
And you end up selling it for $110 million.
Having been a social media manager, and I used all the platforms at the time, but none of them had a calendar. And I found, particularly in technology businesses, the best products are created from scratching your own itch. The phrase is, you're looking for a market of one. Most people are going to say no. And so you get one, all the other ones want to come in. You're going to just have to deal with the rejection.
Where were you when you signed the deal and you knew the money hit your bank?
I actually had a huge identity crisis and actually went into a period of depression. When that happens to you, nothing changes, but everything changes. Your mentality, your mind certainly did anyway, changes massively to, well, now what the am I working for?
Alex, are you happy? What are you doing today?
Today, I'm running JAAQ. 30% of people in their life go through a mental health challenge. Well, that might be depression, it might be ADHD, it might just be sleep. JAAQ can reach that many people and positively impact that many people. To be happy, you have to know who you are. Yeah. So I really believe in it, and it's got, all the legs to go all the way.
What a journey.
It's crazy. And do you want to know the crazy thing about that bit?
Alex, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, we're looking forward to this one. Let's start with, who is Alex Packham and what's been your biggest business achievement so far?
Who is Alex Packham? I have so many different versions of answering that question. I'm sure most people do. So in the business world, I'm Alex, serial entrepreneur. My biggest achievement, I think, in the business world was founding a business called Content Cal, short for Content Calendar. I basically got onto social media marketing really early, before people were really using it for business. So my entire background came from learning how to use social media for, whether you're a big company, small company, how to use it for the business context. And that was back in like 2008, which feels like a long time ago. But I was in the first cohort of people basically that in the UK realized Facebook in particular at the time was an incredibly powerful tool, not just for us to connect as people, but for businesses to promote themselves. So I'll give you the full story as we chat, I'm sure, but 10 years embedded in the social media world in and around business. Ran Odeon Cinema social media for 2 years, ran Now TV social media for 2 years, set up a social media agency running those two as clients, and then many others. And then I morphed that agency business running different client social media accounts into a software platform called Content Cal.
Fantastic.
And then I went on a 6-year journey kind of in that business, raised $14 million, grew it to 5,000 plus global customers, team of just over 100, and then 2021 sold that to Adobe. So yeah, it was a wild ride, just like that.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, that's the end of that podcast. Yeah. Man, that's amazing.
Journey, yeah.
So 2008, how old were you in 2008 roughly?
I was, how old was I in 2008? 18, 19.
18, 19.
Yeah.
And when was it when you first set up? You obviously worked for a couple of years before learning the trade, working for social media, being the social media manager for those companies, I'd imagine.
Well, what I did was, I was going to actually, literally, I've got a semi-photographic memory. I can actually remember the moment I figured this out. I was actually at uni, so I was 19 thinking about it. It's probably like
which uni did you go to?
I went to Cardiff Uni.
Okay.
And I literally realised everything I was buying as a student, or the bars and clubs I'd go to, or whatever it might be, were influenced by what my mates were doing on Facebook, or what a brand would start to share on Facebook. And I was like, I'm not watching TV. I don't watch TV, and I don't watch TV now.
Nor do I.
Not linear. No one does sport these days, right? Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. But it was all that generation where all that stuff was super new. And I literally was on my laptop and I was like, this is going to be huge. And I went down a rabbit hole, and this is what quite often I do if I get into something, rabbit hole on the laptop as a 19-year-old in Cardiff. And then this concept of social media marketing again, which is obviously now massive, but was brand new. Yeah. And there was the Gary Vaynerchuks of the world and all that kind of stuff talking about it over in the States, but no one was really talking about it in the UK. And so actually, when I first started, I was 19 as a student doing social media management from my bedroom rather than studying, making money, figuring it out, making it up as you go, as we all do. And then, and I finished university, kept doing that on the side. And then that's when I went into Odeon, which was my first proper gig doing it.
Okay. Do you remember how much you were on at Odeon?
Oh my God. Like 25K.
Okay.
But it was weird because, one, these jobs were new. Like, this didn't exist. The word social media management, or this kind of job, social content creator, did not exist.
That's right.
And there's a guy who I'm really good friends with now at Odeon. He was in sales in the business side, and he would come around and kick the back of my desk and be like, I'm getting paid to be on Facebook, basically, like completely taking the piss out of me. Like, I'm actually doing a real sales job over here, and you're just sitting on Facebook, messing around. But yeah, I spent 2 years there doing that, and then I hopped ship to Now TV when that was brand new. It was kind of a subset of Sky's business. Did that for 2 years as well, and that's when I realized corporate just wasn't for me. And again, we go down the journey, but it was amazing because these businesses were learning how to do social media through people who were 23, 22, whatever it was.
Who were living and breathing it.
Living and breathing it.
I get it. Yeah. What was the point where you said, right, I've had enough of working for a corporate, I need to go and do this myself?
For me, it was basically, so Now TV, which is quite a big brand in the UK now, right? Like a Netflix in the UK. When I went to Sky, it was 40 people in a room figuring out how to build an internet kind of Sky business, basically, for them, because Netflix had just landed in the UK. Sky had reached a time where actually there wasn't a huge amount of growth in the kind of typical set-top box type stuff. And I spent 2 years there, and I had a wild ride. It was a corporate business, right, but actually a startup within it.
Brilliant.
40 people to 2,000 in, I don't know, 18 months.
My God. What, Now TV?
Huge growth.
This was based in London?
No, in Osterley, which is Sky's office. It's Sky's huge office, but we got chucked in like the shittest room in the whole building. Like, go and build
Make it work.
Literally, go and make it work. And we did. But what I realised was when it got to like that 2,000 or whatever the number was people, we got a little bit more embedded into the actual Sky company culture. All I could see was, okay, the only way for me to either make more money, grow my career, is to basically network in Sky for the next 20 years of my life. And maybe someone else will decide if I'm good enough for a promotion.
For a promo,
And I was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
I'd always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always thought I could do this. And the moment I decided to do it, and again, I can remember it picture perfect. I was in Portugal on a family holiday. I read 2 books, The Lean Startup and Tim Ferriss' 4-Hour Work Week. And I closed the book, I turned around to my mum and just said, Mum, I'm going to go home and I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to start this business that I've been thinking about.
Brilliant.
And she was like, no, you just started your career, basically. And I was so young. But hey, it worked out in the end. I was like, fuck this, I'm going to go and do it.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah. What did you call it, the agency?
Agency, I kept it very simple. Yep. It was actually, I think it's somewhere on this hat, ASTP, it's my initials.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I was very embedded in marketing culture. Agencies were like very cool upfront brands, but they were quite often started by like 1 or 2 people in a room, very similar to how I started, right? And just said, right, we can do this ourselves. And I really didn't want to go around the houses on names, and I just wanted to get something off the ground. And to be honest, at the start, it was just me. Yeah. So I was like, let's just call it my initials. No one's ever going to ask what that really means. Yeah. And I didn't really overthink it. But interestingly, as I built, whether it was the agency and then in time Content Cal and now many other brands, branding is obviously so important. Yep. So that morphed, over 2 years, like I said, into Content Cal. But it kind of gave me a personal brand, which we were talking about before we started press and play here, like using your initials or using your name. It gave me the ability to become credible in the space. Yep. Just, my name intrinsically linked with the agency. But there's a pro and a con to that, because then it's 100% reliant on you. And agency businesses, services businesses are often reliant on a couple of really good people, and then you've got the team underneath.
And it's harder to sell.
Very hard to sell.
When you've got your name attached to it.
Oh, yeah.
Very hard. I've always been a person who's always stepped away from the business, come up with the idea, create, step away and put people in place just for that accessibility of when the sale comes, you're not attached to it.
100%. Yeah. And I learned that way. Yeah. That's actually when we made the shift to a Content Cal and kind of morphed the business into a software business. I was like, it's not the Alex Packham show. Yeah. Like, this is a business, this is a brand. Yeah.
Where did you find the idea then? Because when we're all creating as entrepreneurs, I'm always looking for a problem somewhere. Yeah. Can I solve a problem? Can I get paid for that? Yeah. What's pissing me off about this problem? Can I get paid? Well, you're always thinking about that. Where was it when you come up with the idea going, you know what? I've actually found a real problem here. I'm going to create Content Cal, and this is what I'm going to work on.
So having been a social media manager, having been the person who also writes the posts, create the posts, responds to people, thinks about a content calendar, outside of our name, like what am I going to post over the next month? I did all of the jobs in social media, like physically lived them. And I used all the platforms at the time. So back in the day, it would have been like a Hootsuite or a Buffer.
Hootsuite is the one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Okay, it's still big. It's still big. But none of them had, and it sounds so simple, a calendar. None of them had a calendar at the heart of it. So you're like thinking about what day am I going to post this? And it was all about scheduling in the future. But there was no interface of a calendar. And so I spent a lot of my time, and then as I met more social media managers, going onto Excel or Google Sheets, making calendars to write the posts, to send it to the agency or send it to my boss or whatever it might be to get approvals, tweaks and changes. So the whole process was actually in a spreadsheet. Yeah. And then you take it to a product and then you plug it in for scheduling and planning or whatever. And my view was, there's me, there's however many social media managers in the UK. And I also knew, just embedding in the industry, right? Like this personal brand or this creative vibe has unfolded massively over the last 10, 15 years.
Yes.
I knew it would be coming.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to want to be a publisher in some way, shape or form at some point. And so I just literally sketched out my perfect product for myself. Mine was calendar interface, start there so that you can go from ideation, creating the post, putting the schedule together in the calendar, visualizing it. If I've got to send it to someone, building an approval process in the product, building analytics. So actually I'm going to go to another platform to look at analytics. I was like, how do we bring this end-to-end process into one physical place? And I made it for myself. Yeah. And I found, particularly in technology businesses, the best products are created from scratching your own itch. And I literally sketched it, met a friend of mine eventually through meeting different designers, gave him this literal set of scribbles. And I was like, I need you to make this beautiful for me. And he came back 2 days later and he became my like kindred spirit between me as ideas and him as designed it. And I was like, you've nailed it. Like, this is going to change.
What a feeling.
It's fucking amazing.
What a feeling, Alex, knowing that you saw a gap in the market that Hootsuite and the other brand weren't nailing. Yeah. For you to go, do you know, I can nail this by doing a calendar. But if I remember rightly, didn't Hootsuite allow you to do it for Instagram, Facebook, but not on TikTok or not on Twitter? It was something that didn't incorporate everything. Is that right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Everyone had different access to different levels of platforms at different times, depending on how fast you integrated them. Again, none of them had the ability to actually see it all in one place and visualize it. And that was our thing. Like, we want the end-to-end process all in one place. We don't want to just manage scheduling. Hootsuite was super popular for basically the scheduling part. And the interesting part was, and this is why I love entrepreneurship, Hootsuite at the time, all these other businesses, super well funded. They were much, much bigger than Content Cal was. But we, as some dude in the UK and, you know, a band of people together, were able to disrupt from a user interface perspective the entire way these systems are now set up, that they all then, whether they copied us or someone who then copied us.
Everyone copies everything.
They all, it was best form of flattery. It pisses you off the first time you see it.
It does. You're like, I know you, but I've done it to someone else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you know, that's the bit I love about it. We were able to change an industry, and that's how I think about things going forward quite a lot. Like, finding the thing, you know, and ideas are super important in business. Execution is obviously way more important, but you're finding the thing that gets the hook. And for us, honestly, it sounds so simple. It was a calendar. Yeah.
Brilliant. So when you come up with that idea, how did you scale your business? How long was it from the start of Content Cal until you sold it? How many years was that?
It was 6 years as a pure software business and 2 years before that as the agency. So call it 8 in total.
Call it 8 years. Okay. Yeah. And did you actually sell the agency or did you sell Content Cal?
I sold Content Cal. Yeah. The agency kind of morphed into it basically. Okay. Or kind of over time we said, right, we're going to stop managing clients' accounts.
And hone in on this.
And hone in on this. So it's sort of like that was growing. The software business, the revenue grows more slowly in the software business in theory. Then that overtook it. And then we're like, right, we're down towards that part of the business. Okay. Yeah.
So when you were doing Content Cal, how much were you charging the customer?
So we went out initially thinking we're going to be like an enterprise sales tool, like 40, 50 grand a year, 100K a year, whatever it was. This is how I get a lot about pricing. We then ended up actually charging on average, I think like $49 a month.
Yeah, okay.
And it wasn't like we're going to have 100 customers at 100K or whatever. Yeah. It was like we're going to have thousands.
Less.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it took us 2 years to figure that out. You know what it's like in the early days? You don't have a clue what you're doing. And it is all testing and learning. Unless you've built a business, gone through the whole journey, all that stuff. I was 23 to 31. That's kind of the, 23, 24 to 31. And so you are learning everything. Pricing, sales, strategy, finance, raising money, corporate finance, hiring, firing, talent. So that period of my life, and that was one of my personal goals, was like, how do I take 20 years of work and cram it into my 20s so that by the time I'm 31, 32, whatever, even if Content Cal doesn't work out, I have learned so much, that my value can then go into something else. Yeah. So it took that long, but like I'd say the way my journey compounded was in the first 2 or 3 years, like I said, you're in the sticks, right? And you're kind of in the trenches, absolutely battling everything out, whether it's like pricing, sales, strategy. You learn so much. But with software businesses, as you get traction, and because it's recurring revenue, right? So you're not like having to do one sale and then that's it. It's like, right, 49 months, then you're open for a year, and then you've got another one, then another one. It compounds over time. So every year you start with whatever your last year's recurring revenue was. So we started to see that and like feel that in the first 2 or 3 years. So by year 3, you're like, okay, there is some formula. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
When you come up with the idea of Content Cal, how many staff were working on that from day one? It was yourself plus
me and one other.
Okay.
And then a handful of developers that I'd managed to just persuade to do some stuff for free.
Okay.
And then when we got it into like what I call a mini business at the start, there was probably me, a designer, call it 3 or 4 engineers. And then we had one guy join us really early in a growth sales capacity.
Yeah.
And I had to learn that actually in that business, I was really good at selling in the agency business because I was selling me.
Yeah.
In the software world, I didn't have a clue how to sell. So I had to bring in a chap I got introduced through one of our early investors called Andy Lambert, and he was a software salesperson. And he was like an alien to me. He was like, I will go and talk to everyone and you know, just talk about this. And I was like, oh, I'm so not used to that. Yeah. Like, I would be a bit more, you introduce me, we'll have a conversation, maybe there's a business. He was like, no, I'm going to go into every room. I'm going to be like, do you like this or not? Do you want to buy it at this price point? What do you think? And he just did that over and over again. So he really, for me, was someone who we brought in who had all the energy in the world, but also was just like, I get sales. This is my world. Leave me to it kind of thing. Yeah.
How much money did you have to put into that content, Cal, for the first 2-3 years?
We raised in the first 2 or 3 years about 2.6 million.
Oh, so you raised straight away, did you?
Yeah.
How could you not afford to, at the time, could you afford to get it to a certain point? How long did you get it to that point before you raised?
So before we raised any money properly, I used the profits from the agency. Okay. So let's call it, I would, you know, what are the numbers? Probably about 100K of agency profits went into the design, the MVP, etc. And that was just money, you know, we had. Yeah. And then from that point, I started to realize that to actually do this, and this was a while ago, this is before technology, well, certainly I had a clue about how to build tech, but also you didn't have the power of AI to do half your coding for you and all that stuff. So we then raised 150K from friends and family, but, you know, some family of mine, luckily, you know, were able to invest, but then I had to go and, you know, meet a bunch of strangers and raise cash. So we put 150K on top of the hundreds, call it 250 to get it like working. Yeah. And that wasn't that was a really good prototype, I'd call it. But then we had Sky using it and Odeon Cinemas using it and all the agency clients. You had like 30 customers from day one. As soon as I got through that bit, I then realized, okay, if I'm going to do this properly, I need to understand how to build like great technology and raise money. Yeah. Because as we all know, and everybody reads it, and, you know, if you're in the tech space, you kind of get it. But actually, from a lot of people's perspectives externally, they're like, why can you raise all this money, burn all this money, and then still sell a business for loads of money?
Wild, isn't it?
It is wild. I mean, I've lived it, so I understand how it works. But I spent then the next, you know, 3-5 years, whatever it was, really learning how that bit of it works, the finance bit, because it's totally different to other businesses.
How did you approach your friends and family to raise a ton 50?
I am very lucky in that my mum is one of 6, and my granddad, so her dad, and my aunts and uncles, particularly my uncles, were incredibly entrepreneurial and or very business orientated. So from probably 14, I've been around people that ran their own businesses or were very ambitious, very business focused, not necessarily wildly successful, but were fucking hungry. Yeah. And so one of my uncles, Stephen Lane, who's actually a really good friend of mine, runs another business called Prop Store, which is a brilliant business, totally separate to Content Cal, which we love. But he said to me he mentored me when I was really young, sort of 16, you know, just in different ways in life. And he cut me my first 5K check. You know, he believed in me. He could see it. He's an entrepreneur himself. He was like, Alex is, you know,
he's got something.
Yeah. But also, actually, he was actually, I'm just going to back Alex. Yeah. You know, and that spoke to, I'm actually, you know, thinking about it now, I can feel it. Like that spoke to me so much. It wasn't actually like I'm investing in Content Cal or the agency. It was like, I'm investing in Alex.
Yeah, I love him. Yeah. What's his name?
Stephen Lane, and he's a legend. Big shout out to Stephen. You're a legend. Yeah.
But they're the things that really matter most in business. The people who back you and give you self-belief. You know, that's going to stick with you for life.
It literally does.
And I'm sure that 5Gs, he's had a nice little, been looked after as well, you know?
Did very well.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. But
he backed me all the way. Yeah. You know, so there were, you know, and there's many people like that. There's a chap called Derek Jones who backed me again. He was a complete stranger to me. Yeah. He ran a business called Mediatel. I mean, countless, Colin Smith, James Murray. There's a bunch of people in my life who literally, like you say, and a lot of those people I'm talking about, and there's, you know, 30 odd angel investors in Content Cal. They don't know who I am. Yeah. I'm a dude, a kid at the time, really, who came in, pitched them an idea, met them for a coffee most of the time, you know, chit chat. And, you know, literally within a week, they were like, yeah, here you go, here's 50K, here's 40K. But I came with a lot of energy and I knew my space, you know, and I can only say that with hindsight because to me, I was sort of winging it, really. But
well, we're all winging it.
We are.
We're all winging it. It's just the self-belief and the confidence.
Which you have with youth as well. As you get older, that not necessarily goes away, but you get more bumps along the way, right? I didn't really have any bumps at that point, to be honest. I was lucky, and I definitely did later.
So that ton 50 there that you got invested, how many shares did you have to give away for that initial 150 grand?
Probably a give or take I think it was like 8 or 9% of the business.
Okay.
And we definitely didn't raise money in the perfect way. I didn't even know how to do it right.
No.
So nowadays you'd go, whatever you're raising, say, you'd go, basically you're going to give away roughly like 10 to 20%, let's just say, based on a VC round or whatever, typically through the flow.
Or an angel. We're not doing angel first?
I did angel first, but I'm just saying now if you do it, that's kind of what happens now. It's pretty well modelled. Like you don't negotiate that much and stuff as much as people make out. It's like, right, we're raising £1 million and it's 20%. Yeah. At that point, it was angel investors, and I was doing or people thought they were doing like the dragons, and I'll give you this for 5 years. Oh, that fucking bullshit. Honestly, it's ridiculous. But, it does teach you some negotiation skills. But yeah, so I gave away, let's just call it about 8 to 10% in that round. And then there was a few versions like that over time where that continued, of which, from angels, we raised about 2.6 million. And then we got into venture capital just before COVID. So we kind of built the business over, say, must have been 2016 to 2019. So that 3 years I'm talking about, we're like doing it.
Okay, yeah. More angel investors.
More angels.
So they did 8 or 9% for the first time 50. How much did you raise in angel investors before you went to VC?
2.6 an angel. And then we raised 2.5 from a fund called Fuel Ventures in 2020.
Well, after angels investors?
Yeah.
Okay.
2.6 an angel.
What did you have to give away of that 2.6? What percent?
Probably in the round, probably about 25, 26, 27%, something like that, just under 30.
Okay.
And actually, so if you do it in a total calc, if I'd have raised that in one go, that's probably what you would have given away anyway. Yeah. But I did it over 3 years piecemeal because, again, I wasn't credible to a VC.
Still learning.
Yeah, I was still, and yeah.
So you're giving away 30% before a VC come on board?
Yeah, yeah.
And did you feel totally comfortable at that point?
I did, because my thing with Content Cal, and to be honest, with pretty much any business that I look at that can scale massively, was like, this is my baby in one version of my world. I love it. I'm doing it, etc. I've always been very much like, and especially at that point, like, this is a bet. Yeah. This is a transactional bet for me that I fucking believe in. Yeah. But it's not my be all and end all. To build a really big business, there are very few people who own, actually over like 6, 7, 8, 9% in time. That's right. But the bet is to get it so big that is worth enough to do financially, right? Yeah. So that was my concept. I wasn't really like crazily precious about necessarily what I had. Obviously, you have to be super smart about how you dilute later stages and stuff like that. But I wanted to build it. Yeah. My goal was, as much as the money side of it was actually, I want to learn, I want to do this. I'm doing it at a young enough age special. And see what happens.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So when you went from angels, how many people were you juggling then? So you'd raised a ton 50, then you raised, say, 2.5, so you're all in for 2.6, say, for argument's sake.
Yeah.
How many people were you actually juggling?
Investors or
investors.
We had, at that point, when we got to the peak of angels, probably about 30 different angel investors.
And how's that for you, juggling 30 investors? They're all saying, I put 100 grand. What's happening? Is it all going well? Or was everyone fully supportive? Or were there some people going, Alex, come on, mate, I need a return on this money?
Do you know what? Everyone was in the supportive camp.
Brilliant.
And obviously, I've now invested in 60 different companies. So
you have?
Yeah,
okay, lovely.
Then,
so you know.
I know the ins and outs, I was not, whether it was luck, whether it was just the right people, whether I was actually pretty good, which is, I do look back and think, I kept them up to date and stuff like that. I didn't have, touch wood, really, when I say touch wood, it's already happened, but like any dissenters, any people going, where's my return? Yeah. It was all like, we've given the cash.
We're backing you.
Let's have it. Yeah, exactly.
Lovely.
Yeah. And the best calls I got to give to people was, thank you very much for investing 50k. We're about to sell this business for this. I've just made you a fucking fortune. And I've got videos of me doing it. So many people, and the reaction, every reaction, because I teed it up, was like, hi, whoever. How you doing? I haven't spoken to you for a while, because at that point we had VC. A lot of the angels weren't as involved.
Yeah.
Are you sitting down? Are you all right? How you doing? Oh yeah. So I've just done a deal with to sell. And you just hear everyone just go, oh fucking yeah. Oh, this is amazing. When does it happen? And I obviously couldn't see them, but it was just so funny.
Oh, mate,
yeah, so it was a lovely story. Yeah.
So when we got through the angel investors, now you're juggling 30 people. You're obviously a very good communicator. I can see that.
Thank you.
And you're good juggling people, and you've got a nice bubbly vibe about you, which people will love. When you go into the VC world, how's that different to the angel world?
Well, it is. One way of it is incredibly different, and actually some of it's very similar. So VCs, they're investing other people's money. So they have a mandate to do something which is very different to angels. An angel can go, I've got the cash, it's my money, I can make a decision. Do I like you? Yes or no? Done. A VC is, I've got this much money that I've raised from other people. They want a return of X, whatever X is, and we've promised them that basically. we only invest in companies that look like this at this stage, whatever it might be. So there's a whole set of very strict criteria. And if you fit those criteria and boxes, and then you go through all the pitch process and the investment committee and you pass due diligence and all that stuff that they have to do because they are investing other people's money, it's highly transactional in that way of thinking, right? So, I went to a couple of VCs, and some VCs are great and some are terrible, that they'll string you along. Some will just say it's not for us, all that sort of stuff. I
prefer those ones.
The ones that just get
it straight.
It's
not for me. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Fast yes, fast no is what I say to everyone. But basically, the transactional element is transactional. Do you fit our criteria? Yes. Does it fit what we want to invest in? Do we like you? Are you at the right stage? Are you raising the right amount of money? Tick, 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 tick. If this crosses, whatever. But tick, tick, tick. Do a deal. However, they are human beings. And so what I found with venture capital investors, which a lot of people go, oh God, when you have a VC on, aren't they just a pain in the arse? And don't they try and tell you what to do? And they've got all these restrictions. Well, actually, on paper, some of that is potentially true. They've got some rules and regs around what they not necessarily allow you to do, but stuff that they need to be informed of in the business because, they're managing other people's investments. If you go for lunch with them or you have a coffee or you speak to them normally rather than being in sales mode all the time, and you build a relationship like anything else, the person who's on your account, so to speak, or on your board on behalf of the investor fund is a human being. And also bear in mind, they haven't invested in you because they want you to fuck it up and fail. They've invested in you because they believe in you. Survival, and then you look. There's difficult conversations that happen, when things are going well and things aren't, especially as well. But actually, it's a very business-based transactional thing that you're doing. You are one bet of their portfolio of 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 plus businesses. And so as soon as my main thing with everything is you learn the rules of the game, you understand the game that they're playing, you understand the game that you're playing, and all is fair in love and war.
So there was no, you hear of these VC horror stories. Was there no part of you like, I'm not actually enjoying this part of the journey?
Oh no, I had loads of that.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I'll give you an example. So when we were morphing from the agency to the software business, we still had, I don't know however many staff, but a payroll of the agency business. Call it I think it wasn't massive, but it was to me at the time, 30K on payroll.
A month?
Yeah, call it a month, yeah.
What are you talking, 7, 8 staff?
Something like that, maybe 10.
Yeah, okay.
We had basically no money in the bank, let's just say realistically, but we had on the same day payroll was coming in, 40 grand, like an invoice from 40 grand. I remember waking up on the day that invoice was going to land, i.e. the day that our payroll was supposed to go out. And it was like 6 a.m. and the 40K hadn't arrived. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That money is not in the bank. As in, I didn't actually have money to pay people. And I was watching my phone, on my banking, oh shit, is this going to come in? Because if it doesn't, I am fucked. And I would never do that now, obviously. And then literally 4 minutes later, it was there. Payroll was great, all that sort of stuff. But fucking hell, the stress of that is actually and it was half an hour, but it felt like 5 days watching my banking. But I've had those types of moments. I've had times where actually before we raised VC, we'd burned through quite a lot of our runway. We knew the VC investment from Fuel Ventures was coming. What happens right in the middle of that? COVID.
Pandemic, yeah, okay.
Fucking every VC, even if they'd written term sheets to do investments, pulled out.
Yeah, okay.
And Shiv, who's a legend, and Mark Pearson, who runs Fuel Ventures, I remember we actually shared an office with them for a bit. For number one, what the hell is going on in the world? But number two is, are we still good? And they were like, we're in.
They still
this is happening. Brilliant. And also you don't ever, no matter what you've signed, any deal you do
until the money's in the bank.
Exactly. Yeah. But they were the whole way. We're in, very communicative. The money came in. I remember actually that again. I've got photographic memory. Waterloo. I was in Waterloo Station, kind of going home. It was desolate. There was no one there, and I was just like, oh, thank God again. But now we go. And so I've had tons of moments like that where you're just like, oh man, this is hard. This is hard. This is really hard. And many later in my career, which we can talk about as well. But there are the biggest highs and the biggest lows in building businesses from scratch. And I think that 0 to 1 phase probably has the biggest highs and the biggest lows, actually.
0 to 1?
Building something from scratch.
Yeah, what's the one?
That's kind of getting it to whatever the stage you consider to be, I'm in the game.
Okay.
The kind of 0 bit is we're starting out.
The chaos.
It's the scribble to whatever.
The chaos.
Yeah.
I love the chaos.
Do you?
Oh, I love the chaos.
Do you?
I love building businesses.
Which bit do you like? So if I said it was 0 to 1 phase, that is the starting this from nothing to something.
The chaos.
Do you?
I love all of that.
Really?
Yeah, I'm addicted to that. I'm addicted to risk.
Really?
Yeah, I love risks. I only found out that my wife knows I'm a big risk taker. My friends know I'm a big risk taker. But I was
in the world of business elsewhere as well, or not?
Everywhere.
Really? Yeah.
I'm also business.
Yeah.
But I was on stage talking last month, and someone's talking about addiction. And I was like, no, I'm not. I've got friends with addicts. Podcast.
Yeah.
This woman put her hand up and said, "I've been following you for a few months. I think you are an addict." I went, "Okay, well, thank you. What? You're a risk addict." I went, right. Shit, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoy the risk. I enjoy the gamble. I enjoy the chaos. I enjoy working it all out. I enjoy looking where we can get pull staff in from. I just enjoy the game.
Yeah. See the game.
Yeah.
And you answer this. Do you think it's the money part of it, or is it the problem solving, or is it the problem solving linked to the financial outcome?
It's the problem solving linked to the financial outcome.
Yeah.
Like in the different eras I've been in, the younger years, it was about earning money. I wanted to have money.
Yeah.
I wanted money.
Yeah.
And I've got no shame about that.
Same.
In my 20s, in my teens, all the way up, I wanted money to live a nicer lifestyle. But when you get to a certain point in life when money's not the main goal, it changes your outlook on creating businesses, because you've got money behind you to create businesses, and
you could take more risk.
You can take more risk, But,
no, I totally get it. Yeah.
But I've gambled the family house on things, and
really,
putting on businesses with the festival and whatever you. But I love the game.
Yeah.
So that 0 to 1. So that you then come into the VC world. How long was it? How do you sell it to the VC world? Guys, I've burnt through another 2.5 mil, and now we need more money. Is that pretty much the chat?
Not quite. So again, I learned this in the journey. You put together a pitch deck. It's got, you can find these online. Yeah. It's got who we are, the problem solution, the total addressable market, You do the pitch, whatever it is, however that comes up. I actually did a pitch event, and then I just happened to be sitting next to a guy who invested in us, and he's like, love the idea of the business. Let's come and chat to these people. You then have 1 or 2 meetings. You then kind of go through a process of what I'd call mini due diligence. Do we like this? Do we not? Have we vetted Alex, etc.? Your question was like, how does it work, basically, on that basis? It's effectively it's a sales process. So I've in 1 or 2 or several discussions basically conveyed enough to them that Content Cal's a great idea. Yeah. We've got validation. We had just under $1 million of revenue at that point. Bear in mind, recurring revenue. So we were not.
So how many customers roughly would you have had then if you worked it back
in the
£9?
It was all different pricing at that point. So we had a few at 50k, a few at like 200 grand of that. But I don't know, call it 200 customers, 300 customers. So we had traction.
So you had 200 customers leading up to the VC money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they could see the business model working.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Most big VCs, so now they call it like pre-seed, seed, Series A, yada, yada, yada. Again, these stages exist, but they were less well formed when I was raising. But we were what I'd call a seed plus. We were just before a Series A, but a seed plus investment. There was enough proof points that we had de-risked the bet slightly, to your point. Yeah. Still lots of risk involved. Yeah. But we had enough proof points. They believed in me. They believed in the business. Good investors on board. Good customer names. Look at logos. Have you got big brands, which we did, etc. Good team, even though it's still early. They have a tick list basically, and you go like that. And if you miss a big one, they're not going to do it. Yeah. Even if you've got a little amber light on one of them, can we fix that? I think so. Yeah. All that kind of stuff. Yeah. So that's the process. It's like what I would call it. If anyone works in like enterprise sales, it's very similar to that. You've got a target list of people you want to go to, have the initial conversations, give them the right information at the right times, bring them through that sales funnel. And you're looking, I often the phrase is you're looking for a market of one. Yeah. You need one person to say yes. Most people are going to say no. And so you get one, all the other ones want to come in. Yeah. That's how it goes basically.
How many VCs did you approach before you got someone to say, yes, we're in?
Probably over 100 in London.
Is that right?
I got every no on earth, and Fuel Ventures was my one yes. And that's why I love them.
Wow, I bet you do.
Yeah. And
so any founder out there, anyone looking for VC money, the proof in the pudding here is you're out there throwing everything against the wall to see one thing that sticks, someone who actually believes in you. What out of the 100, for example, are you presenting to them, or is that an email with the presentation? They're going, guys, take a look at this for you. And some people say yes, no. Some people string you along. How long did it take to get Fuel Ventures to back you?
It took a year. So this was a year-long campaign.
And what were they out of the 0 to 100 that you approached, would you say? Can you remember that?
In terms of where were they on the list?
Yeah. So
right at the end.
Were they?
They were the last one I met. It was that or bust.
So you were banging on doors?
Oh, I was banging on doors.
Okay.
I've done that bit. Yeah. I did fundraise. I mean, I never in the businesses that I work in now as well. I never not fundraise. It's part of the game. It's part of technology. But for a whole year, I was collecting some angel money along the way, kind of thing. But I was then started a VC process. Every single one, like I said, mostly in face-to-face meetings. Actually, some emails, obviously. Yeah. Say, call it the first. Of the 100 odd I met, you never meet them, or it's very quick or whatever, and then you do loads of other meetings. And it was before Zoom calls were popular, so this was face-to-face coffees, whatever.
Which is the best.
Yeah. And then boom, everyone said no, and I was like, fucking hell, this is absolutely horrendous. So you asked me if it was all gone well. No, they were the only one, and they were the last one I met that said yes. But market have won.
Yeah, that's all you need.
So and the game is you're going to just have to deal with the rejection. Which we all do, whether it's in all parts of our life. There's rejection everywhere in different parts of life, but you've got to have the resilience.
No such thing as no, it's just not yet.
Precisely.
It's not yet. Wait, keep going. Where a lot of founders would go, sod this. I'm not doing that anymore. I've had enough. This whole VC world, I'm losing traction on what I'm trying to build here because I'm looking for VCs. Because that can take your eye off the ball as well.
But your eyes
maybe not you, because you built so amazing, but you were still looking for the VC money while trying to build the content cal at the same time.
I was. I mean, I would work all the time, 24/7 kind of thing. But fundraising is the CEO and the founder's full-time job, is the way I see it, for a good period of time in your business, and it never goes away. You know, you always want to be dipping in and out of the business, obviously, but most people don't realize, even in NASDAQ floated corporate businesses, the CEOs do not work in the business. They work 20-30% in the business. No matter what they say, they are in front of Wall Street investors or whatever it might be, or if you're in the startup ecosystem, you're in front of VCs, you're doing this. I remember someone saying that, well, not someone who mentored me, said to me, again, I was 24, you need to understand how corporate finance works inside out. So what did I do on the weekend?
Studied it.
I studied the hell out of it. I was like, what the hell's corporate finance?
Yeah.
And to me, I was a product founder. I made a product. I was a social media guy. That's what my whole story was about. And then I was like, oh no, this dude is actually correct. Like if I want to build this into what it can be, one, I need to raise a lot of money. And I had not been doing that the right way for a long time, but I've just been going out meeting people left, right, and centre. Yeah. But I actually need a strategy and a plan and all that stuff. So yeah.
When the VCs come on board Fuel, how much did they invest and what percentage did they take?
They invested 2.5 million in the first round, and they took, I think it was just over 25% at that point as well. Yeah. Then it became quite formulaic.
Okay.
So you're
55%, you're giving 55% roughly away by that time.
Yeah, total at that point. And then we had a slight management pool, so I think we had about 10-12% management incentive. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I when we sold, I had, give or take, I think it was like 28% of the business left, which is, given in the grand scheme of things, was pretty good.
And you end up selling it for $110 million. Mate, put it there, mate. Put it there.
I'm actually banned about talking about any financial numbers attached to the public, but yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah.
What a journey.
It's fucking crazy. And do you know what another crazy thing about that bit? We raised our Series A, so we raised £6 million, $7-8 million, whatever it was, in March, April 2021.
So this is through Fuel.
This is through Fuel, Guinness Ventures, and a couple of angel investors.
Okay.
And then I sold it to Adobe 6 months later. In December. Boom.
Did you know Adobe was hovering around? Did you know anything? What were you see? What was going through your mind? Going, I'm building this. I need to identify, because we all do. We need to identify someone who's going to have a piece of this, or want to buy to take it to another, let's scale it, or buy it off me. Yeah. Was there nothing in your mind?
I have a deck from probably my first or second ever Content Cal deck with target acquirers on it, and it had like Salesforce, various other brands, and Adobe was on there. Did I think in my wildest dreams Adobe was going to buy Content Cal? No. Adobe is the best buyer of content. Right. It's the biggest marketing technology business in the world. It's the biggest creative business in the world. It's a phenomenal company. And did I think it could happen? Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, it's logical.
Give it a go.
It's logical, right? Yeah. But did I think it would actually happen? And the way it did? No. No, honestly, it was amazing. It's changed my life, to be honest, in so many different ways. Yeah, no, I know.
Somewhere,
there's that bit, which is great, but also comes with its own challenges, right? Sure. But So the VCs come on board for the first 2.5 mil, then they reinvested again another 2.5.
They
did. I think they did. They did. Like Fuel did another 2 and a bit, maybe.
Yeah.
Guinness Ventures did 2. No, they did 3.
Yeah.
And then there was angel investors, a couple of angel investors.
What, at the end again?
No, I just tagged on to that round.
Tagged on as well.
Came in,
And then, and what year was that?
That was in 2021. So we did 2.5 million. We did first VC 2020.
Yeah.
2021 March, did the Fuel Ventures gig, the one we just talked about. So that was about £6-7 million.
Yeah.
But then we sold in the end of 21.
So when they must have.
Yeah,
that's fantastic for everyone.
Yeah,
everyone involved. This is fantastic.
Yeah. It's a good outcome. It's a brilliant outcome.
Great outcome. So when you got the last round of money in, how did the door open for Adobe at the time?
Again, crazy. We'd closed that money. We were like 2 months into what we call deploying the money, so hiring people, marketing spend. But we'd already got a machine going at this point. We had 4,000 customers. It wasn't like we were a baby business at that stage. So we were like, right, what's going to get us to the next stage in the business so we can do what's called then a Series B later down the line. And I'd already started talking to investors about the next round. But by that point, Content Cal was a business. It was small still in the grand scheme of things, but it was a business.
But growing
fast as well, yeah. And then we changed domain like 5 or 6 times. We had contentcal.something, contentcal.io. Then we managed to buy the .com, so we moved it over.
How much you pay for the .com?
$25,000. The guy started at, what's it called? I don't know, like $210,000 or something like that. And I got them down to 25 in like 3 days. Chris Voss has never split the difference, but gave me the hack for that. Yeah, which I was just like, I can't remember how I did it, but I was just like, it would cost me 2.5, whatever it was, 210 to rebrand the business. Yeah. I'll pay you 25, and he was like, "Yeah, go on then."
So when you were playing around with the .io, because it's annoying, you need a .com.
You need a .com.
So when you found that .com, how did you find it? And was it someone actually in that game of selling domain names?
No, bizarrely, it was it was someone. It was on the internet. You know, like Whois or whatever it's called. You can see who owns domains. It was a guy out in Silicon Valley, which basically was the worst place ever because they're going to think big money basically. And he was a guy in marketing. I can't remember his name. He must have just sat on it. I have no idea why he bought it. He bought it before we existed, so it wasn't like he bought it just no. But we'd announced all our fundraisers at that point, so he probably thought, cha-ching, these guys can afford $200,000, and I was just like, I'm not going to pay that. So, but it didn't take long to negotiate that down. It was quite.
How did you contact him?
I found his email address. No, I found him on LinkedIn.
Found him on LinkedIn. Pinged him and said, I fancy. But you must have said, can you remember your words? You don't want to go in with the...
No, it was like, I'm the founder of Content Cal with this
I'm really young.
UK-based growing business. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then he was like, $210,000, buddy. I was like, we're not paying that.
Did you manage to get him on the phone at all?
No, it was all done on email. We've still got the emails.
See, there's no conversation whatsoever.
No.
Bam, he transferred it over, 25.
Yeah. I mean, bear in mind, so that was pre-COVID. I mean, give you an example of how much you can do online. I never met anyone from Adobe when I sold my business to them because it was during COVID. I got asked to go into one meeting in the Shoreditch office to have a UK rep meet me to make sure I was a physical person, because other than that, I was dealing with the San Francisco team in over Teams or whatever. Never met anyone. It's nuts.
This is an unreal story.
It's crazy.
This is a proper unicorn. How do you go from Adobe approaching you?
Yeah.
Or did they approach?
Well, sorry, that was the question. So I had like 4 or 5 old inboxes.
Yeah.
And the email from an Adobe Corp dev guy called Justin Wang, who's a legend, emailed me to an old email address I never checked, but I just happened to check it on the day that he emailed. And I went in and I was like, this just looked like spam.
Like a fake one, okay.
Yeah, it looked really fake, yeah. And then I went onto LinkedIn and found Justin, and he didn't have a picture on his LinkedIn. Okay. I was like, this is just not real. But obviously I went back to him, said, yeah, cool. And then he took like a week to get back. And I just assumed it was, whatever. Either spam or just not going to happen. Yeah. And then he got me on this call. We had a chat about Content Cal. It was in the context of we invest, we partner, we do different things with businesses. So we had a chat about Content Cal. And then he asked me to come and do a demo to a lady in the team called Michaela, who was a product person at Adobe. Bear in mind, I don't know who these people... These are people on the other end of the world, basically. So I did a demo of Content Cal. They were like, we'll come back to you in the next couple of months. Like it, but there's no action here, basically. Month later, or probably 3 weeks later, can we have another conversation? And basically what they did, and it was super smart, they then started getting me to do product demos to different people in the business, but not really giving me the context as to why. But of course, you're founding your business, you're going to do that. Yeah. So I probably did like 5 or 6 product demos, and then just like that took like another, let's say, 4 weeks. They were just like, can we meet you every week? And I was like, so fixed time in your diary. And I was like, okay, but like, why? Yeah. And they were like, we just like you. We just want to talk to you every single week and make sure we've got a slot in the diary. And it was just so smart. Because obviously we knew something was therefore piquing their interest, but they were so coy about the whole proposition. And sometimes I'd go on those calls and have a chat, literally. And then so I built a really good rapport with this guy called Justin, who was on their side. And then sometimes I'd go on and it would be, can you send us this bit of information, whatever it might be. And that went on for like probably a month. And then I said to them, this was approaching summer at that point, like, guys, I'm blocking out time, every week for this now. We're raising a Series B. We've now sent you at this point quite a lot of stuff, and I'd go on calls, and again, they were so, whether it was on purpose or by accident, smart, but like I'd go on calls to do a new demo to the next stakeholder or whatever, and there would just be me and Justin on this invite. So you'd think you're going on, and normally it'd be like 1 or 2 people on the other end. One time I went on, then there was 50 people on the other end of the call. Something ridiculous, and I had COVID, and I was just there like, oh my god, it's just like, honestly, I was like sweating, hey, it worked. But yeah, and then it was like, guys, can you just like, give me the heads up. Just tell us what's going on here. Yeah. And then they were like, look, we're looking at this space strategically. You're one of 3. We want to do a deal. We can't do it for like another 5 or, it was like 8 weeks or something. And I was like, guys, I'd love to do it. But I need to crack on. Yeah. So I said, look, I need to know if you want to do this in the next, I think it was literally getting like a 2-week-ish, not say deadline, but target. I was like, otherwise I got to raise money. Like I've got to go and do this. And to be fair to him, 2 weeks later, came back and said, we're going to do a deal. Probably 4 or 5 days later, came back with a term sheet with the offer. And then probably 3 days after that, we'd signed that. Then it was 3 months of due diligence. Then it was done. So it was slick. It was slick.
And this is genius.
It's crazy.
This is genius.
It's crazy.
I want to know the bit when, because it's great. They all know all the details, and you're like, God, we're onto something here. I don't know what it looks like. And you're just like, give everything.
I didn't sign NDAs. I was just so, like, some people go, just like, I'm in.
It's not worth the.
You want to have a chat?
Exactly. Yeah. But where was the bit when you said kind of gave, not the 2-week deadline, but you're kind of like, guys, I need to know because I need to raise.
Yeah.
When was the bit when they come in and said, yes, we are really interested in acquiring you? Did they come in with an offer without you even saying a word?
No, we actually gave them, they obviously asked for all our cap table, how much we'd raise, what valuations and stuff like that. We then gave them a series of ranges starting from, crazy numbers, then coming down kind of thing. And I was actually I wanted to do a deal. I was like, I'd got to the point where I was like, if Content Cal lands at Adobe, pending terms, this is the best, this is an amazing outcome. And so, our investors were like, go in here and we'll get them down to this and whatever else. And we had like a real talk about, not necessarily the bad side of VC, but the toughest conversations I actually had were, great news, we're selling the business. How much for? Real push on squeeze as much value as physically possible. And to be fair to them, that is their job, to make money for their investors. Adobe don't want to necessarily get they're not what I'd call a value driver in that they don't want to pay the lowest price. They want to get a great deal done. And that's what I love about Americans. And be fair. And actually, I find in America, that's the general thesis of doing deals. Whereas here in Europe, we squeeze quite a lot. They're like, look, we don't need to pay the lowest. We ain't going to pay what you've been told by your investors over there. Somewhere here, we can probably get comfortable. And then, honestly.
Mate, I bet inside you're thinking,
I was comfortable. I was comfortable there. Yeah, no, I was very comfortable there. Yeah.
Did you have your calculator going, right, the US dollars to the pound, minus my 60% given away, that's left me with that 28%.
And then you start going into the terrible things, like, what would I do with that? I want to go forward, and then I can't think about it, it's not going to happen. Yeah, it's awful, but great at the same time. Yeah, it was one of the worst things genuinely.
Do you remember the number they initially, your VCs wanted to go in at?
Oh, yeah, it was much bigger than when we went for. It was I can't remember exactly. It was like, multiples on what you quoted, basically. Right. Multiples.
We're talking like 500 mil or something.
Not quite that, but not far off.
Okay, and then you come, and did they come in a lot lower than the deal you actually got?
No, they actually, I can't go into the exact, they came in not far off where we landed, actually. Okay. And they actually put together what I'd call a really good and fair price at the time. And we actually went back and said, our investors wanted up here, we're being told they want up there. Yeah. And then I just said, and one of my mentors again, who's on our board, Colin Smith, who's done a lot of M&A, was like, Al, at the end of the day, everybody's here to do a deal now. Yeah. Go in with what you think they're going to do. Just say something that you think they're going to do, and let's see where we get it done. And that's what we did. We went back and said, look, we actually need to be here. And they were like, yep, based on these things as well. Yeah. Done. So money wasn't necessarily their biggest problem, pain point, or whatever. Product, team. They were like, we're going to do this. We want to do it with you. Let's make it happen. Yeah.
It's unreal.
It's crazy.
Isn't it?
Yeah. And then I spent 3 years at Adobe. So I did, and my earnout was 3 years. And for a lot of founders, that's like the worst nightmare. Yeah. I had a phenomenal experience. I mean, some parts I didn't enjoy, so I'm not.
Well, did you go to America? Did you?
That was part of the backwards and forwards between London and America.
San Fran,
half and half. Yeah.
So where were you? San Francisco.
San Francisco. Yeah. They have offices everywhere, but it was between Silicon Valley, so they have like 4 or 5 offices in San Francisco. I mean, Adobe's a mega business. Yeah. It's a big business.
Do you know how big, roughly?
Well, it's 30,000 people, 20+ billion in revenue. When we did the deal, the market cap was 300 or 400 billion. It's the biggest marketing business in the world. It's on the Nasdaq. It's one of the biggest businesses in the world. And so I spent 3 years in their product team on Adobe Express, which was their version of Canva, their big new kind of push, and then in various other parts of the organization. And did I love all of it? No, I didn't love the corporate element of it. I didn't love the style of meetings that we had often. And they would actually laugh that I'd say this, but like the amount of bullshit conversations. And I became known as one of the guys in our team who were like, guys, what you're debating is actual bullshit. And they actually took it quite well. And I could use my founder, that and my founder, like, guys, some of the stuff was literal bullshit. Yeah. But I loved the concept of the way they look at businesses versus how we do is they go, right, this is the size of a market. It's however many billion. To build a category defining and leading company in this market, it's going to cost 200 million. Okay. How long is it going to take? It's probably going to take 3 years to get off the ground, 2 years to get into maturity, and another 2 then to go and dominate. Okay. All right, what's the best people we need? Well, we need a leader of this, 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 and this. And we don't want average people. I want the best people to build this, best people to do that. Okay, it's going to cost us, to get $1 billion outcome, it's going to cost us 250 million. Okay, here's 250 million. It's just like, that's how they think about things. They're not like, well, we'll drip 320 million in and then we'll sort of see what happens. And then maybe we'll do the next one. It's like, no, here's the money. Here's the best people in the world to go and do it.
Let's not fanny around.
Let's not fuck about and go and get it done. And that is something I've taken into JAAQ, into all my other businesses that I do now. Like, I don't want to do what I did with Content Cal, which was a brilliant journey to learn, but very piecemeal. I'm like, size of market, everything I've just said, best people in the best place. Here's how much money we're going to need to go through. This is a multi-billion-dollar opportunity. Give us the cash. Let us get on with it. We know what we're doing.
On that 3-year deal earnout, what percentage did they pay you up front to say, there you go, congratulations? And on the earnout, did you have to hit certain targets?
I had 80% up front, 20% held back, and I had no targets other than being employed. It was
beautiful,
amazing deal.
Beautiful.
It was an amazing deal.
Did you negotiate that, or did they just say, this is what we're thinking?
I think they were like at 70-30, and so there's a bit of negotiation. But their main thing was, honestly,
they wanted the product, they wanted you.
Yeah, basically, and the people in the team and everything else. They wanted an embedded product so that actually that could continue forevermore. They wanted me to be there to make sure everything got embedded properly and all the rest of it. And to be fair, I almost stayed. I mean, I would never have stayed forever, but I was quite close to taking a role in their venture capital team, which would have been fun.
Exciting, yeah.
Yeah, and then I was quite close to sticking in a similar role that I was in, but different. But it was just for me. I'm 35. I've gone through this journey. I've got to go again. Like I can't.
It's in the blood.
I've got the energy. It's in my blood.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah. I'm not a corporate dude. Yeah.
When they said, well, you want to come, we want you to do a 3-year earnout, did you have to fly back and forward like 10 times a year? How did it work?
Probably like 5 times a year. Yeah. And
how long
like a week or two at a time, maybe a month sometimes. I don't know, maybe not a month, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks. They were quite flexible. But again, it was post-COVID, so very remote working. And, there's great, we've all been through that. There's great elements that you can wake up and have your coffee and then you do a few calls and have lunch. Actually, quite a lot of my calls were in the evening because we were dealing with San Francisco. But the biggest challenge with it was, and it was post-COVID when many people were started coming out, going back to offices, social engagement with teams, joining new businesses. We were pretty much still 100% remote. And I've actually looked back and realised that was quite challenging. Yeah. And also because we were
lose culture. You lose the vibe.
The 2 things you just said are actually the 2 biggest things you lose. And then the social connection. Yeah. You lose culture, vibe, and you don't meet people.
Yeah. How do younger people learn?
I don't know.
You got to be in with people to go, oh, he's got 10 years on me, I want to learn off you. Just even the little bits and pieces here and there, like it's
too mechanical.
Yeah.
Do you know, I talk about this like subject for hours. I'm a big fan of actually remote working when you're in certain stages of your life and all the rest of your life, which when you're young, but actually at any age, like you said, if you're not around human beings, like connection, learning by osmosis and connection, you're not really leading what I would call a fulfilled life. We all have to work. Yeah. So why not have that part be like intrinsically linked to your human life? That's a big thing I think about when we're running JAAQ and stuff like that. But it's important. Human being and human connection and discovery and meeting and broadening your horizons is so important. And so, yeah, we didn't have that. And that's the part of the reason, again, where I was like, no, I need to be in an environment where I'm back out meeting people and doing stuff like this or whatever.
Where were you when you signed the deal and you knew the money hit your bank?
I was on a Zoom call in December 2021 to the team in my 2-bedroom flat in Wandsworth. And I literally was obviously refreshing the old flick thing every few seconds. Yeah. And they literally was on a call. I can't remember what we were talking about. Looked down and I was like, there she is. Finished my call. Put my laptop down, reopened that, and I was just like this for about 20 minutes. Like,
my God.
I was just like, freaking wowzer. But do you know what's so weird about it?
I love this.
It's a number on a screen.
Yeah, I know, it's weird, isn't it?
It's so weird.
It doesn't really. I always think that someone should bring it in cash.
Or something should happen.
Something happened, like
doves fly out.
Yeah. The thing is, when you sell a company, we were the same. We were like, we've done it. We signed. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, life carries on.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Go to the pub or something.
A bottle of champagne. I don't really like champagne, but did a bottle of champagne.
Yeah.
Oh, was that it?
Yeah, I know. I think I had a Nando's or something.
Yeah.
But you know what is a reality, and this is where I'll tell you how my life transformed outside of the financial side. So you probably have been through similar things. When that happens to you, nothing, like you say, nothing changes, but everything changes. Because actually what happens is over the course of a year, and this is what I found, because our deal was announced on Bloomberg and blah, blah, blah. And then I decided to put myself out on social media as an investor and all this other stuff. Everyone around you treats you slightly differently for a period, whether you like it or not. And that's weird, suddenly because you've become wealthy. Everyone assumes you've now got a great life. Everything's perfect. You could never be down ever again if you've got money, or if you've made some cash. Every person on earth who manages wealth and wants to sell you something, basically anyone who could sell you anything comes at you in one big fell swoop. And I think that your mentality, or mine certainly did anyway, changes massively to, okay, well, now what the fuck am I working for? Because it isn't for money. And I actually had a huge identity crisis and actually went into a period of depression after I sold my business. And it sounds so weird to say that because, like, money, whatever. But I really realised that my entire being was building a business, Content Cow, the team, my entire life was embedded into that thing, rightly or wrongly. And that's probably partly why it was successful. But I then spent 2-3 years outside of my Adobe stuff and outside of angel investing and all the rest of it, actually in a state of actually just large confusion, to be honest, thinking, now what the hell do I do? And what do I do when this is all over in 3 years? And 3 years is a long time to be in what you call kind of golden handcuffs in a way. So I had a lot of time to think. And I realised that actually when I met JAAQ and did various other business things, I want to spend my time now on things that basically can improve humanity. And you think a lot of exited entrepreneurs or Jeff Bezos and all that, they're all investing in longevity and health and stuff. But actually, if you can help people through products and services and scale technology and what the rest of it, and use your skills that you've still got through the means of business, I think that's the most meaningful thing you can go and do. So that's what I'm doing now with JAAQ. But actually, like, the highs were the highs again, but the lows were actually afterwards really low.
Thank you for your honesty.
Of course.
Thank you, mate. Not a lot of people would say that. Not a lot of people would say that because a lot of people listening be like, mate, you've got all that money in your bank and you're not happy. Happiness comes within, and you're happy building a business. Now you go, your baby's been taken away. It's like, well, what am I going to do with my life now? There's only so much gym you can go to, or golf you go to, or holidays you can go on to, or houses you can buy, or cars you buy, what you buy. After that, what else is there?
Well, that's it. I'll tell you, I'll give you more honesty, and I'll tell you a story. I bought a Lamborghini. I bought,
what colour?
It was black Huracan Evo, and it was awesome. But it was nothingness.
How long did that vibe take till it wore off and go, what have I got that outside my drive for?
So I'll tell you, so I sold my business in December 21. I bought nothing but a house for a whole year. I purposely said to myself, I'm not going to go and splurge. And I was quite busy still with the integration. And then in the second year, as a lot of the upfront work integrating Content Cow into Adobe was done, I had a lot more free time. And that's when some other stuff just went awry in my life. And I was like, right. And then we had another sort of release of money and stuff like that through some legal stuff that was happening in the background, which was, it was good. It was all clean kind of thing. And then I was like, that's when I hit what I'd call kind of crisis point. I was like, I really didn't know what I was going to do. And I was really feeling weird. And then I realized I went into a phase of depression. I was like, I didn't even know what this was. And then I bought the Lambo, and then I took my mates on a massive holiday to Marbella, which was amazing, but like it was wild. And then,
how many lads?
It was actually only 3 of us.
Okay.
But I'm not telling this group. I spent sort of like 60 grand in a weekend on a yacht. I mean, it was fucking amazing. I'll be honest.
Yes, man.
Honestly, it was.
Why not? That's experiences.
But it took me a year to get to that. But a lot of my mates come up to me like, "Why aren't we doing this wild shit?" Yeah. One of them in particular is like, "Why are you still here? Like, why haven't you just fucked off and travelled around the world?" So yeah, so we had some fun, and then that's when I got into 6 months of really like, okay, something's not right here. Okay. The Lambo did, it's a thing. I had it for 6 months.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was such a weird dynamic. And then, like you just said, happiness comes from within.
Yeah.
To be happy, you have to know who you are, what your mission, your purpose, your values, your vision. And that doesn't mean writing that all down and like being totally clear on it, but you really have to be comfortable with yourself. So I got really into mindfulness, meditation, journaling, which really helped me. But now I'm very embedded in that concept of like, if you know who you are and you feel comfortable and you know what you enjoy and how your time is, and life comes with its ups and downs. And that was the biggest like proper bump I'd have, a real like, who am I and what am I here for? Yeah. Then you can build a great life. Then you can have a really fulfilled life, no matter what your financial situation is. If you've got that stuff set, like you said, and you feel good from within, that's how you can actually give your best out, in my opinion. Yeah. Or
find a really, really good missus.
Or that. Yeah. No, that's true.
Like I've been with my wife 22 years now. Like, I wouldn't be who I am today without that support.
Totally.
Fully supportive.
Oh, no, 100%.
You're not like, where are you? What are you doing? Why are you doing? Fully supportive. That's not a better feeling.
No. I found Jasmine, who I'm with now, like sort of kindred spirit, after all this stuff. And I'd been in relationships, but in different ways. And she's amazing. Like, like you say, like finding someone who you really, really
enjoy being.
Oh, it's just and lovely. Laugh and love. It's amazing. Yeah, it's incredible.
What's the one? What's the most expensive? What's the most expensive thing you've ever bought?
Outside of houses.
Yeah.
I'll tell you some cool shit off actually. So Stephen Lane, mentor from earlier in the story, owns a business called Prop Store, which is a film collectibles business, which is movie memorabilia, entertainment memorabilia, but it's the stuff used in the films. Yep. So I own Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man head. I own Christian Bale's Batman.
How much was that Iron Man head?
120k or something. I own Christian Bale's Batman Dark Knight helmet.
Do you?
And it's and that's one of my favourite films.
That's the best, yeah. What'd you pay on that?
That was $120,000. Yep. I own loads of props, basically, which in my office, and there's just cool stuff, right? Yeah, I own a watch, I bought a cool watch, whatever. I think the film props is probably the most expensive thing, I think. I'm much more of an experiences person. Yes. I have a really nice house in Surrey, which was definitely my most expensive thing. And then outside of the Lambo, so I've bought some stuff, the way I'm talking about it. Yeah. What was
that feeling like, knowing that you've got all that money in the bank, going from a 2-bed flat in Wandsworth, probably going to the Ship every Sunday night and getting on the
spot.
I lived I was in Chelsea Harbour. Moved down to Bournemouth 20 odd years ago. But what was that feeling like, going from a 2-bed flat, grafting your nuts off for all those years, getting the money in the bank, and then going, I'm going to go house shopping in Surrey?
Well, I actually went house shopping in Wandsworth first, so I actually ended up buying a house. I loved Wandsworth so much. I actually shouldn't have bought this house, but I went house shopping in Wandsworth first, and it was surreal.
Yeah.
And so I bought a 5-bedroom townhouse in Wandsworth, and like you said, I was living in a normal 2-bedroom flat, as you might have in London, whatever. And when I moved in there, we called it Wandsworth House, like Soho House. And then people were like, "Is there a Soho House coming to Wandsworth?" Because I had so many parties.
Yeah,
honestly, I did. I just moved in. Like, all my mates came around. They were like, "Fuck!" And we had it, and we did. We had it large every weekend, many weekdays as well. And it was so cool. But yeah, it was surreal. But again, I was actually, in a lot of the time I was living there, I was on my own, so actually having the parties and your mates, you're not sharing it with, other than my mates kind of thing. But yeah, it was good though. I mean, don't get me wrong. And then the house I bought in Surrey, actually, so the Wandsworth house thing was kind of like a part of the blip in that journey, but it was a lot of fun. But the Farnham house I have, which is like in the countryside, big green, nice views, all that kind of stuff, that is become like real tranquil to me. And home is actually something it sounds weird to say this, but I've never felt like home. Yeah. My family home is, we moved around quite a lot when I was younger. And so I never felt like at home anywhere, actually, up until really quite recently. Yeah. So I always felt quite transient, where I live kind of thing. And also, most people know when you live in London, it's temporary. Like, you're there for like 10 years, but you're not going to be there forever, right? Yeah.
What was how much turnover were you doing in the business the moment you sold it for $110 million?
We were doing... In dollars, probably 7-ish million.
Okay.
By the time we sold it.
Okay.
So not huge.
Yeah.
Not small, but not huge. It was growing.
Yeah.
We grew really quickly during the pandemic.
So what multiple did you get in the end?
I wouldn't be able to do the numbers on that because it wasn't valued on the multiple.
It wasn't. They wanted the asset.
Yeah. All the customers were turned off.
Yeah. Were they?
Yeah. Because the $7 million to Adobe is nothing.
Oh, wow.
Nothing.
Why would they turn the customers off?
Because we're not profitable, right? We're burning money. We were still in growth mode as a business.
So you're turning over 7, but how much? So there was no profit whatsoever.
Well, if you stripped out all the costs, so the sales costs and the marketing costs, but you have to put it into context of the Silicon Valley thing I said to you. Adobe look at markets and go, it's going to cost us let's say it's going to cost us $1 billion over 10 years to do this. 7 million.
What, to make it themselves?
To build
what you've done.
Whatever they're doing. No, not what we've done, but like to dominate a market. Call it like small business creativity. That's how they look at it. For us to dominate small business creativity, of which we need to build this feature, this feature, this feature. We're going to buy content count, stick that one in there. We'll buy that one, stick it in there. Over, say, a 10-year period, that's what they think about. They're like, we need to put this much money into it. 7 million, 4,000 customers, of which most are Adobe customers anyway.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, it's almost like, it's not an annoyance, but it's like we just turn that off because we don't need that bit. They're all paying us anyway.
Yeah.
In some other product we've got, because everyone has an Adobe account in business, so they have to really. So that's what it's called. It's called an AAQ hire, acquisition hire. That's how they think about it. It's like it's crazy. It's hard to get your head around.
It's bonkers, isn't it?
But to the point I was saying about software businesses, what we don't realise is that in the UK in particular, venture capital is quite often funding the research and development costs of Silicon Valley. So we will build products that will get to a certain size and scale.
And they snap them up.
Ching will value. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So the actual model is you're building a business, but you're building it to proof points for large companies to acquire you.
What are you doing today?
Today, I'm running JAAQ.
Yes.
On the hoodie.
And that's justaskaquestion.org. Anyone listening, it's an amazing website.
Thank you.
Amazing brand, amazing everything.
Thank you, mate. Yeah.
I was an early investor in that.
Are you joking?
Yeah, no, I was an early investor.
Thank you for supporting the business. I didn't know that. Bloody hell. Did you get my email or not?
No.
I sent out a shareholder update, but I've still got some missing emails, so maybe I've missed you. I need to, we'll sort that out.
We'll sort that out. Anyway, this was a couple of years ago, someone told me about it. Danny Gray come in, who's the founder, and he told me about JAAQ, and I was like, this is amazing. How do I invest in that? This is going to be a unicorn.
Oh, cool.
I was instant.
Yeah, really. You got it.
I saw it straight away. I was like, wow.
Danny's amazing. So, I mean, I came to JAAQ actually. So I invested in 60 companies.
So you've invested in 60 companies. What's your company called to invest in those companies? Or have you
it's me.
So it's just you. You're going, I'm going to...
Personal.
I'll have a piece of that, I'll have a piece of that, and let's build these.
Yeah. So it's
Does
my
that
personal
excite
portfolio.
You?
It did. Now it doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah, it really did. I used to love it. I used to meet founders, etc. And I never thought I wanted to become a professional investor. It was partly a hobby, but also it's part of my investment portfolio. It's part of my life.
Rather than keeping it in the bank. So hold on, let's invest.
Let's get it into businesses. Yeah, exactly. So I did 60 over 2.5 years. I'd actually come to August 24, so I had 6 months left of my earnout, and I was like, well, what do I want to do? Firstly, and secondly, I don't really want to invest anymore. And then I met JAAQ through a guy called John Reynolds. And he brought me in.
Good lad, John.
You know John?
Yeah.
He's a legend.
He lives down here.
Oh, did he? Of course he does. Yeah. No, he's a ledge. So he brought me into JAAQ to come and... Well, he showed me the platform, talked about it, and then I had since realised that they were like on the hunt for a tech person, but I didn't know this at the time. And because of the mental health stuff I'd gone through, I was like, do you know what? If I had this when I was going through what I went through and then extrapolate that out to every person on the planet, like you said, this is a unicorn.
100%.
And that is the way I think about it. And then I met Danny, I met Dan Kirk, a bunch of other people in the JAAQ team.
Both two great guys.
Yeah, legends. Yeah. And for me, I was like, okay, so if I'm looking for, I'm going to go back to the Silicon Valley thing, biggest possible global market, which is basically in JAAQ's world, everyone potentially. Yeah. Everyone's going to go through stuff in their life. Have they built enough traction? They've got this many videos on platform, like you say, JAAQ.org. They had traction with a big client in Bupa. Who's a great partner of us. They had all these proof points, basically, great team, all the rest of it. But what they were doing was they were doing this. They were like, maybe we could do that bit next. Maybe we should do that bit next. Again, because they're in it. Yeah. And I came in, and so I actually invested $200K. And then I was like, guys, just for what it's worth, and you've said to me, you want someone in tech. I have done all of the things
that you need to do.
You are trying to do, and I'm going to see what you're doing, and I can just give you the blueprint here. Yeah. So I spent 6 months advising the business from August last year to December. And then I was basically asked throughout that period saying, would you consider coming and joining us full time?
As the CEO?
Originally, potentially not, but actually, it just came really clear that actually that was the role that was probably needed. And so, had a chat with Danny, obviously, and various others, and said, "Look, I'd be up for it. You know, let's think it through." And then I was like, "Do you know what? Like I said, if I could use my skills and my time to help people go through, of which something is personal to me, I've been through a mental health thing. Yeah. If I can create something which is a huge platform globally and a unicorn business, and I actually believe business is the best vehicle as forces for good, because it's commercially incentivized. You can do things quickly at scale. Charities are brilliant, but they have their own challenges. And I joined full time officially in April. So I was advising for a bit longer, and I'm in the full time seat. Yeah, driving the business.
Fantastic.
And we've just gone through funding rounds. We're building up. We've doubled the size of the team. We'll do like triple the amount of revenue we did last year. It's grown really big. And my view is we've got to get it to 1 billion lives positively impacted.
Yeah.
And then I want to get it to over 1 billion valuation. And I would like to then have it live in either a much bigger business's ecosystem and kind of grow in that world, or I'll take it all the way through to whether it's like just scale or IPO or whatever, because I really believe that when you're going through something, that might be depression, might be ADHD, it might just be sleep and stuff like that, much lighter things.
This has got all your answers.
This has got
on video format.
From celebrities, people that look like you, feel like you in your demographic, doctors, and we deliver it in a way which, despite the subject matter, sometimes is actually quite tough. Let's take like a subject, awful thing like suicide, or something lighter like a sleep and meditation, whatever. There's nothing better than watching video content, and as you do with this, in a slightly, very informative, but actually slightly entertaining way.
And a cooler format.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I really believe in it, and it's got, all the legs to go all the way.
I believe so. And we invested 6 figures into it as well.
Thank you for investment.
Yeah. And I saw it, I think we invested maybe 18 months ago, early.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, this is something. I said to my wife, trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me. And then we had the actual conversation, and we're like, wow, we're in.
Yeah.
Let me roll back a bit. When will it become $1 billion business?
What, JAAQ?
Yeah.
It's a good question.
So I know when to sell my shares.
You'll hear from me. Yeah.
Do you think it genuinely can get to that?
I wouldn't be there otherwise. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you how.
We're talking like, go on.
Well, I'll tell you how and why.
Yeah.
So run the numbers again. Use the Silicon Valley, modeling. Yeah. There's 7 billion people on the planet now. I don't know what the number is, right? Give or take.
7.8
8 billion.
Yeah.
30% of people in their life actually go through a mental health actual challenge, not something light like a sleep or diet and how to optimize and live a great life. They actually go through a fundamental challenge. And if it's 30%, it actually means really it's probably more like 50-60, because who talks about it? It's hardly anyone, right?
That's right.
So numerically, JAAQ can reach that many people and positively impact that many people. Now, that might mean you watch one video and never come back. That might mean you watch 20 videos and go and get a diagnostic for something. That might mean you actually just really enjoy the platform and learning and hearing because you're into understanding your nervous system or whatever it might be. So we're not just mental health, we're mental wellness as well. I want people to be able to learn and fix issues that they have or go on that path. And I want people to also optimize their life and their mind and their body together, because that's how you, again, we're going back to what we said, whether it's fulfillment, whatever. If you can have the mathematical backing conceptually that you can actually have an impact on that many people, it becomes not a game, but it becomes a
numbers,
game. So I need to spend, again, back to the investment thing, let's call it, let's say it's, 100 million marketing. That has to go in to get enough people to this platform. So it's all traffic driving from there. We have different routes of monetizing, working with brands, working with partners, working in B2B. If we drive 100 million people or 200 million people or 500 million people into the platform, I know how many people are going to watch videos, sign up, might participate in monetized activity, whatever that is. We know brands will come to us and pay for that audience because they want to be able to promote things like Whoop and stuff that really can add value to your life. Like, it becomes formulaic to be able to unfold this business. And then you go, okay, so to do that, we're going to have to do the financial modeling, all the number stuff, put that together. The vision speaks for itself. I want to positively impact 1 billion lives and 1 billion people's mental health and wellness. That's a good mission. And I think that as the world's going on from here with AI and everything else, over 100-year forecast, people are not going to need to work as much as they do. And different dynamics of life are going to change, and the finance side of things is going to get harder. There's all these complexities that are unfolding in front of our very eyes, and therefore and the news and war and mental health and that kind of stuff is just going to continue to compound, whether it's a problem or whether it's just a thing. put all that together. Then I just need the best people in the right places to execute on their thing.
Yes.
If you're a salesperson and you're the best in the world, come and join us.
Yeah.
If you're the world's best marketer, come and join us. If you're whatever, bring the best people in, create the culture where you can get shit done.
Yeah.
You can make mistakes,
and that's okay.
We're all to this.
Yeah.
It's kind of formulaic.
Yeah.
Easier said than done. So you've got to be in the trenches as well. But there are very few businesses that have that set of ingredients, and JAAQ has it. And I wouldn't be there otherwise. Yeah. And you wouldn't have invested otherwise.
Absolutely.
And nor would everyone else.
Absolutely.
So that's the goal.
Well, they've certainly got the best man for that job.
Yeah, I hope so.
No, they have.
Where is he?
They have. No.
Yeah.
I'm hearing you today, and
yeah.
You've been through it. You know it. You get it. You got the T-shirt. You speak our language. This is what we're going to do. We've got a formula. It works.
Yeah.
The business model is phenomenal. The people are phenomenal. The website's amazing. Danny Gray as the founder's amazing. It's got everything going on.
It's got the best chance.
And
now it just needs to go.
Yeah. Turbocharged. Bang.
We call it the rocket ship. We need a SpaceX rocket launcher.
Yeah.
Danny's great. Danny's analogy is like build a lifeboat, like test something out, which we still do.
Yeah.
But I'm now literally saying this yesterday in the office. I was like, right, lifeboat now needs to be SpaceX rocket launcher.
Yeah.
I need firepower to get this thing to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at the moment. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's fun.
Alex, are you happy?
I am very happy, actually. It's a good and interesting and very deep question. Have I always been happy, or have I gone through periods of not being happy? Big time. I've had 2 years of therapy every week. I have gone on, whether you call it a spiritual awakening or a journey. I've gone from what I thought was making me happy to not, things like whether it was work or other things. And I've done the work to know what makes me happy, and also know what doesn't, and also know that actually if I'm not happy, it's not that I can fix it, but I can actually just be, down for a day, and it's not going to be the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
So that's how I think about that. Happiness is to me like a part of life, right? But it doesn't have to be it's not a constant thing. I used to actually really think like the whole goal of life was to be happy all the time. And it's not. You have to go through the ups and downs of life. But we only live once. I have my phone quotes, memento mori, which means you must die, if you've heard of that one, right?
Yeah.
You got
one life.
You got one life, man.
We have one life to do as much as we can, crammed in as much as we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you happy?
I'm really happy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's your take on that then?
I just got a nice, lovely little family. Everything's calm. I go home and it's calm. My wife is calm. My boy is calm. I've got good friends around me. I'm not into watches. I'm not into fast cars. I'm not into any of that stuff. I like long lunches with my mates. I like a glass of red wine. I like going on holidays. I enjoy the finer things in life, like travel and hotels and villas, those things. I'm not into buying cars and watches. That's just not my thing. I've got a good bunch of mates.
Yeah.
And my feet are firmly on the ground. And even like my mates from this age, we're still tight.
Yeah.
There's a great bunch of us.
Yeah.
And
how important are your mates to you?
Really?
Yeah.
Super important. But you know what? As you get older, you realise the difference. My analogy of it is, you know who your true friends are, but you also must understand who your acquaintances are.
Definitely.
There's a lot of people who like to wrap up the acquaintances and friends just as friends.
Yep.
So no, like, trust.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, like, trust.
I like that.
You're a true friend. No, like, don't really trust. You're an acquaintance.
Yeah.
That's how I work it out. And
That's
it's important. Yeah, it's important that you think about this stuff, because people just think, oh, we must just have friends. Or you complain about friends, and, and the main thing, the happiness for me is like, without a shadow of a doubt, I train every day.
Do you?
Yeah, I train, and if I want to do some sort of exercise, I train, and I have a sauna, and I feel good. Then I'm ready for the day. You can go in.
Is that because you like it, and it's just a natural? Have you looked into the science of it?
Yeah, I've done it as part of my life. Been an ex-sportsman, and it's just part of your life. Yeah. But the sauna thing is a game changer.
Really?
100%.
I've just bought an infrared sauna.
100% sauna thing. You just do 10 minutes every day. Bam.
Yeah.
You can walk in.
When you come out.
Can walk into a nice gym at 9 o'clock in the morning. You've got these things in your mind, and these small things could be made big things. You go and have a sesh, you push yourself hard, you lift weights, then you go and have a sauna, and a nice shower, and you walk out and go, ready for the day.
Yeah.
It's so important.
Do you know what's so interesting about that is, so I've exercised on and off throughout my life, but I've never understood the link between the physical exertion, exercise or sauna or whatever it is, and then whether it's the endorphin release or the
Everything.
Parasympathetic.
Everything.
I didn't know any of that. I don't know, did you get taught that? What was you an athlete? What was your background?
Rugby.
Right. Did you get taught that stuff?
No.
Right.
In the 90s. It was going to drink 10 pints, play rugby, have shots.
But you were doing it, so you got the benefit of all this stuff without necessarily knowing the mechanics behind it.
Yeah.
I think that's fascinating because now, I still don't think that enough people know those things, but actually there's chemical reactions constantly going on in your mind and body that are creating positivity, because you sound like a very positive person.
Yeah.
Good energy.
Yeah, nice energy. I love being around good people with good energy.
Yeah.
And the thing what people miss out here is no one was ever taught business. No one was ever taught entrepreneurship. No one was ever taught how to be a dad. No one's ever taught how to be a husband. No one's ever taught what to eat and what not to eat.
True.
My God, I can look at people and I know if they're eating a clean diet or not a clean diet. I'm not saying you have to eat 100% clean all week, but even if you're 80-20 or 90-10, just the choosing the right choices rather than going for the quick crisps or the quick sandwich or the quick Diet Coke and the quick... This over time adds up. And when you're getting in better shape in your life, it makes your mind feel amazing. You're better to be around. You're nicer. You're kinder. It's a knock-on effect of what you consume in your brain.
Yeah.
Watching all this flicking, become a creator rather than a consumer.
Yeah.
But you got to be careful what you consume and be aware. You're subconscious on your little shoulder again. Don't stop flicking. Stop flicking. What's the point of flicking? Get rid of that. Start creating.
Yeah.
Or what are you eating?
Yeah.
As you're eating it, the next day you're going to go, dude, that stuff.
Why did
today?
I do
What's
that?
the point?
Yeah.
And if you can just get that dial on, and you have to go on a diet, but just to understand nutrition, understand what you're doing, and understand the addictions of flicking and looking and bumping from each different social media platform, etc. You know.
So I wish that everything you've just said was taught to us properly.
Agree.
From as young as physically possible.
Agree.
Because the stuff you learn about in school, I always take the piss out of the concept of photosynthesis.
Mate, Pythagoras theory, Latin.
Burner.
Latin. What's
that should be? It should be the other way around. Like you learn the stuff you've just talked about at school, and if you want to go down to these what I would call highly
specific
niche subjects, go and do those. That's cool. But why don't they teach you like what you've just said? How to be a dad, how to eat well, what exercise does for you, etc. Like, how is that not...
How to be well-mannered.
Yeah.
How to look someone in the eye and shake their hands. A deal's a deal.
Yeah.
You know, all these wonderful...
Pay your mortgage. Pay your bills.
Yeah. That could be an online course. Like, again, so much, you know.
People have these conversations and no one's really done it, which is interesting. I've thought about it many times.
I've been thinking about 3 or 4 years, thinking, God, if we nailed what we've done with our online events, because replicated that for life skills, for 16-year-olds up to 30-year-olds these days who haven't got a clue, like...
I reckon in the next probably 20 to 50 years, the education system will collapse based on what's going to happen.
I think earlier.
Yeah.
I think earlier.
Really?
I think earlier. I'm going in. My kids going to school. I said, mate, you don't need to learn Latin.
Yeah.
You don't need to learn Pythagoras.
Yeah.
You don't need to learn algebra.
Yeah.
And like a teacher come up to me the other day, was like, Dodge, do you mind coming giving a talk? I was like, yeah, it's cool, no problem. Do it.
Yeah.
And also, the kids are going to be there. They're writing out their CVs, and they're going to. But I said, CVs are gone.
Nobody uses
CVs. Oh, your CVs was very year 2000, 80s, 90s, 2000. Yeah. So it goes to a lovely school. But I'm thinking, man, the schools that are picking up and going, these kids need to learn AI. They have to learn AI, because if you don't learn AI, you're going to be left behind.
I was having this conversation with someone at the weekend. Literally, I was my 2 cousins who are quite young, like 10, 7 or whatever. I was like, are they teaching you this stuff in school? No AI. But the teachers don't know how to use it. Yeah. They don't even know what it's for. Yeah.
My boy the other day went to. I said, test your algebra teacher.
Yeah,
he's doing algebra. And my boy was clued up, little kid. He's 11, he's sharp, and gets it. And he's like, sir, what's the point of algebra? Me doing this algebra, I'm not going to use it in later life. And the teacher went, you will use algebra every day of your life, boy. And I was like, come back and told me, I was like, mate, this is bonkers.
Oh my God.
This is bonkers.
It is bonkers. But the thing is, it actually is bonkers.
It is bonkers.
And no one's doing anything about
it,
which is crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Maybe we can have a chat about creating something.
No, I'd love to. Yeah. I mean, it is crazy. It's crazy.
Alex, I've loved this, mate.
Me too, mate. Yeah.
I've really enjoyed this conversation with you.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I was listening, and it's so surreal because a friend of mine, I was saying, sent me the one with the trading chap you had, which I loved listening to. Yeah. And I was like, gosh. And then literally, I think you commented on a post or something, and I was like, no, I'm here.
Amazing.
So cool. Yeah, thank you.
Hey, you're a huge success. And what I love about you, you're real.
Yeah,
There's no bullshit. You're real. This is what I've been. This is what I've done. I've hit jackpot. Great. I've had depression. I felt like this. Now I'm in a wonderful place in my life with a beautiful missus and a nice house in Surrey. And I'm got purpose again of being the CEO of driving this business, become $1 billion business. Please tell me when it's going to become $1 billion business.
I'll tell you
selling out that day.
I'll tell you when we're off cab.
Alex, you're a gentleman.
Legend.
Good man. Nice one, mate.
Cheers, man.
Take care.
Take care.
Thanks for watching, guys. If you'd like to see someone on the show, leave a comment below. And if you haven't already, do us a favour, show us a bit of love, press the subscribe button, and it allows us to grow the show even bigger and bigger each week. Nice one.